screen. Alright, there you go. So this is a review for Greenking999 in the chat. It's a 9-man normal speed 10 euro game from PokerStars France. Alright, let's go. Okay, so Flower Girl is a high stakes player. That's good to know, thank you. Okay, that's good. I like your bet. When people limp and then check the flop, you can usually bet any flop very, very profitably, so that's good. Well done. Limp is fine. You can also just raise, as long as you don't fold. No, I think when you have top pair, you need to just bet for value. So bet 25, 30 chips for value. Bet the turn for value. Good. He has 6 stars. Okay, so he's a supernova. It's good to know. Doesn't necessarily mean he's good, but we know that he plays a lot, which is important. Bet for value, that's fine. I think your bet's a little on the big side. I'd maybe make it like 110, but that's fine. Value bet again, good. Well done. I don't really like this limp. You're not guaranteed to have position. King 10 off is like okay limped pots, but there's still 3 people behind you who can raise in the limped pot. You know, if you're guaranteed to see a multi-way pot, then yeah, calling's fine, but you don't even have position here. I would just fold. I mean, I might call if this guy is a really terrible player, because then you really want to play with bad players, so if he's terrible, then I think the limp is fine. I would stab at this flop. Just bet 30 chips, try and win it in position when people check to you. Again, stab the turn. They've checked twice, so they probably have nothing. Suited ace is fine. It's a little on the loose side, but it's acceptable if you're good at playing post flop. I like your bet. I like your bet. Sizing is a little small. I'd probably go for 90, 95 on this flop. Great turn card. 185. A little big, I think, but it's fine. It's acceptable. Value bet river, like 600 maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's just a sizing difference. I don't think it really matters. You got the right idea. Played it good. I like to bet smaller. Your bets so far have been very big post flop. Okay, we'll defend this, getting 2 to 1. I think that's fine. Check fold. 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 Okay, raise. Good. C bet. Good. Good. Fold. 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 Again, this is okay on like very weak tables, but just fold I think is the better play. Because when you open limp, you know, sometimes you're going to get isolated. I just feel like you're giving 30 chips away when you do this. I would only attempt to do this on very weak tables where you can be sure that it's just going to get limped around. Very weak passive tables. Okay, good, that's fine. Fold, fold, fold. Fold. We'll check through. I mean, yeah, I'd probably bet this. The last time he did this, he just folded. So I would have bet again. I understand why he checked though, because the flop is not that great for his range. Think about all the hands that he's limping. It's a lot of those middle hands from an 8 to a king. So all those he's not going to fold. But I would bet flop purely because last time he did this, he check folded. After he checks a second time, I definitely like your bet. Well done. Why are we folding an ace on the button? This is a steal hand. ace on the button against two people, just auto raise. Defend, good. Yeah. Okay. I like this. I like it. I mean, it checked through the flops, so they probably have nothing, and you're only investing a very small amount. So it doesn't have to work that often to make this a good bet. I think it's still a little small because these guys are getting 4 to 1, so they're probably not folding ace highs, and you just want to try and get them to fold the ace highs. So I'd probably bet maybe 110 or 120. Yeah. Thanks, D-Neg Poker. Call that in position. Is that the actual Daniel Negreanu, or is that just a troll name? We'll call that in position. That's good. I think I'd value bet here to get, because he check called. Wow, it's really D-Negs. Awesome. Good to have you in the stream, man. Glad you like the stream. Alright, so back to this hand. So he check called this flop. Kind of think he has an ace high here, maybe a 5 or something like pocket 7s, pocket 6s. So I'd probably go for another value bet. Just a small value bet, maybe 200, trying to get value from those hands. Ace queen, easy call. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, he got me though. Definitely got me. Good troll, man. Okay, we'll fold that. 15% chance. I would raise this king on the button. When you're on the button, you want to raise a lot of hands because you know, you have position post flop. That's right, I did host him. Hey, that's all good. D-Neg Poker, I'm still happy to have you in the chat. Even if you're, you know, not the real D-Negs, still very happy. Welcome to the channel, man. It's good. I'm glad you like it. Good 3-bet. Sizing is a little on the small size. I'd maybe make it 400. Look at the pot odds he's getting, 3 to 1. I mean, he is out of position, so when you guarantee position, a small size is good. But I think on these low limits, you can bet a bit more just for more value. So I'd make it probably 400, but it's not a big deal. Whoa, this is a big mistake though. If you're 3-betting here and you plan on folding to a 4-bet, all you're doing is you're turning your pocket jacks into a bluff. So if you're not confident going all in pre-flop with jacks, never 3-bet, just flat call. If he's a tight player, your line here should be call, not 3-bet. If he's a loose player, your line is 3-bet and then snap call if he shoves. This is the worst line you can ever take. Think about what he does with 9s and 10s. Do you think he just folds 9s and 10s? I think he probably does this. What about ace jack? Some people would just fold, some people would maybe flat call, but I don't know, this is the wrong way to play jacks. But I'll go through that again because this is really important for new players. If he's tight, just call. If he's loose, 3-bet call. Never ever ever 3-bet fold. I would raise. Ace 9, blind versus blind is a value hand. This is an okay line, but it's okay if you're planning on trapping him pre-flop. So if he's very spewy aggressive, what your plan is here is he's going to raise you pre-flop, and then you shove all in. That's how you play this. But the standard line is to just raise 150 and get value. Good. Fold that. Fold. Fold. Okay, well that's trash. That's fine to fold. Again, you're too tight on the button. 10-9 is a raise. As a steal. Fold. Fold. Good. Defend. We're not scared of this flop at all. I just check call and try and get more value out of his C bets. Well, now that he called, he actually has something, so let's just value bet him turn and river. So like 250 here. That's fine. That sizing's fine. I like to call and then min bet. Yeah, Greenking999, that's a very good play. It's called a limp stab, the play you're doing when you limp the small blind and then bet. But when you have a hand as strong as ace 9, you should raise for value. Because you need to have a raising range. You can't just only limp the small blind, you have to raise it as well. So ace 9 would be in my raising range. But a hand like, I don't know, 9-6, that would be in my limping range. Maybe like, even like Jack 9, I would just raise. I think in the low limits, it's better to just raise pre-flop because people will be too tight and fold their big blinds. So you should raise with maybe 40% of your hands, and then limp like the bad hands, and then just fold the very bad hands. Sometimes you can mix it up, you can limp as a trap if they're aggressive, but that should be your overall strategy. Ace in the cutoff, I would steal. It's not mandatory because there's no antes, but I would steal this. I'd make it a min raise or a little more than a min raise. So this is, well, we're in the money. Okay, we can fold that. I don't know what happened to the bubble, but the bubble burst. Fold that. No antes, this is kind of gross. It depends on the player. If he's a loose player, I think it's very close to a call. If he's a tight player, it's a fairly easy fold. The no antes is really screwing with me here because I'm very used to having antes, and that makes it closer. So I think without antes, it's probably a fairly standard fold. I would raise this. Again, you're way too tight on the button. I'd probably defend getting 3-1, but you don't have to if you're not confident. Raise is fine. Raise, good. C-bet. I mean, you can check behind because you have a showdown value hand, and it's like you're way ahead or you're way behind. So you can just check it back and try and get to the river, but the problem with that is that any turn and river card higher than a 7, if he bets, it's going to be tough for you to call 2 streets and try and bluff catch. So I would rather just c-bet and then say, look, if you've got a king, he's going to put chips in and then I shut down. And if he doesn't have a king, he just folds now. First place in this one, well, it's a $10 game, and a 9-man, so it should be around $45, I think, or $35, something like that. I like your bet. Fold the 4s against 20 big blinds. Fold that. So yeah, I like your idea of the strategy in the small blind Green King of where you limp and then you bet any flop. That's good. You can even try doing that with hands that are this bad. Because with your strategy, you don't need a hand. Your plan is to just bet the flop anyway, regardless of what your hand is. So you can do it with something this bad. It really just depends on the big blind. 35 euros, yeah, sorry. It's a ace on the button. Why are we folding, man? It's a good hand. Three-handed. You need to raise an ace on the button. I'd defend this. Again, it's suited. You're getting 3 to 1. It's fine. The problem with this is if he shoves all in, what do? You have to fold. So you can just shove all in for 20 big blinds. Depends on the player. Don't you get raised a lot from big blind if you keep limping? Yarima, in medium and high stakes, yes, you do. And that's why in those stakes, that strategy is no longer going to be super profitable. But in the micro stakes games, people just like to see flops. So you can try it out, and then if the big blind starts to adjust and he starts to raise pre-flop, well then you stop doing it. But most of the time I find that people don't adjust and they'll just continue to check pre-flop. Okay, now we start raising the ace. Kind of funny. Damn. Fold. Fold. Raise. Walk. Okay. Limp. That's fine. Bet. Good. I think I would bet again. It's hard for him to have an ace, but it's easier for you to have an ace. So you can represent this turn card, and you have more. You still have your draw outs to the flush. So I'd go for a double barrel here, 200, 210. Because now, if you miss, what do? You can't really bluff now, because if you had the ace, you would have bet the turn. So this bluff doesn't make a lot of sense. If he has a 6, I mean, I would call you here with king high. I'd probably call you with queen high. Because it just doesn't make sense. If you had an ace, you would bet the turn. And why would you bet on the river with an 8 or a 6? It doesn't make sense. So, yep, very easy call for him with a 6. If you had bet the turn, he would have still called, but at least then, if the river was something a bit more scary, you could bet again, and he might have folded his 6s. All right. Fold. 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 Okay, I'm okay with folding the suited jack 3 on the button, but still, I think you're a little tight on the button. We'll defend that. That's good. Bet now. When he checks to you, you need to bet. Good. Well done. Raise. Good. Fold that. Okay. 9-4, I was thinking he missed a flush. Well, yeah, it's possible, but remember that you also have two flush cards. So when you hold 2 of the flush draw cards, it's less likely that he has a flush draw and more likely that he has a showdown value hand, like a pair. Of course, sometimes he has a flush draw, and you'll win on the river. But if you want to bluff, you should bluff the turn, because the turn is your best chance of making a bluff believable, because the turn was an ace. Okay, that raise is fine. I like the steal. Raise the 6s. It's fine. Fold that. Okay, it's trash. Fold that. It's trash. Walk. Okay, raise. Good. Go broke. I just shoved pre-flop. Well done. Nice hand. Okay, heads up. Min raise any 2 cards. So just raise this. Raise this. Good. C-bet. Good. Check. Good. Fold. Good. You can call here. It's, we're getting 2 to 1. The hand's okay. I don't mind calling, but folding's, it's not horrible. It is 9 high out of position. Min raise. Just raise any 2 cards. Heads up. Raise. Good. Alright, we're getting 2.5 to 1 in position. You can't fold. Just call. The pot odds are too good to fold because his raise is very small. And you have position. So, yeah, just call. Raise. Nope. Call. I prefer a call because I think with doing this, you're turning your hand into a bluff. You don't want to go broke pre-flop. So if he decides to re-bluff you and just shovel in with king-queen, you end up folding the best hand. So I would just call rather than turning your hand into a bluff. Okay, now we c-bet. Just c-bet in 3-bet pot. Even if he has like, I don't know, what can he possibly have here? He could have a better ace high, maybe like an ace 8 he's going to fold. He might fold a 6 here. I don't know how many 6s he can have. Maybe 6-5 kind of hand. He's probably not folding a queen or a king, but we can't be too scared. You know, you have to really try and win. If you check, you're just giving up. There's no way you're going to win this pot by checking. So the only way to win is to bet and just try and win. You don't have to bet big. Just bet 550. Now you have to bet because he checked back. Please bet. Little small. He's never folding a jack or any draw to this size. So I'd probably bet, yeah, like 600 maybe, 700. Yeah, now you lose. You lose to a jack here. Ace high. Yeah, man. His call on the turn was terrible, but if you bet the flop, he just folds. Raise, fold. Okay, we'll fold that. Raise. I prefer a raise over a limp. Bet. Why are you checking? You have 9 high. By checking, all you do is you allow him to bluff the turn. Like, alright, well you hit a pair, but if you didn't hit a pair and he bets, you just fold, and you're giving him the pot. You need to be more aggressive. I have an $8 bankroll. What should I play? Sparrow, I'll post so you don't lose money. I'll post my bankroll recommendations in the chat. Now, what should you play? It just depends on what you like playing. If you like playing cash, then go play cash. If you like playing big tournaments, you can afford to play big tournaments, but you can only buy in for maybe 50 cents. And if you want to play sit and goes, then there's some sit and go recommendations in the chat. Just find a game that you like playing. Check. Good. Fold. Raise. You're folding a queen. What's going on, man? He could have 5-7. He could have 8-2. There's so many trash hands he could have. You're too tight heads up. Okay, we're happy going broke with ace queen. Again, raise. 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 No. Raise. Nope. Okay, that's fine. You can just flat call, but you know you have 24 big blinds, so the shove is not wrong. Raise. 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 Bet. This is just a potter's decision, I think. Do we have odds to draw to the flush? We do. We're getting correct odds. I think I would just gamble here and just call for the flush. It's chip EV, so you know we're getting the exact pot odds. Yeah, bad luck. Raise. Bet. Check. I would check here. I don't see much value in betting this hand. Boy, with some better sixes. It's pretty close, so I think it's a thin value bet. I would prefer just to check. Okay, now we check. Good. It turns out your bet was good. Okay, yeah, cool. Well done. Yeah, Greenking999. Your biggest leaks. Way too tight heads up. You need to just learn heads up strategy. Heads up strategy. On the button, raise any 2 cards. And when you're on the button in not heads up, you're also too tight. You know, I've seen you fold an ace on the button twice, which is very bad. Apart from that, your game is pretty solid. So well done. Guys, I'm trying to think if whether I want to... what I want to do. I have a bit of a headache, so I don't feel very good.